Hello? No?
Yes, I can hear you, Karen. Hi.
Oh, okay, good. They're in executive session right now. They'll be out in a few minutes.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
Okay. I just didn't know if you need me to see something.
What's this doing here? Did you put this here? Oh, I left it here last night. Okay.
Tyber, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great.
Okay, we're going to call this state session meeting to order. Please rise for the invocation followed by pledge of flag. Heavenly Father, as we meet here this evening, let us be mindful of all the things that our residents need, want, and deserve. And let us try to accommodate all the people and their opinions, and let us always respect the opinion of others. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Brown?
Here.
Mr. Ettinger? Here. Mr. Pinnabone?
Here.
Mrs. Rose?
Here.
Dr. Ruggles?
Here.
Ms. Sultana?
Here.
And Mayor Panto.
Here. Okay, we go on to the approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Move to approve. Any corrections or deletions or additions? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Ms. Sultana?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
And Mr. Brown.
All right, Mayor, before we move on, let me have a moment of quietness.
Yeah, I forgot to do it. Sorry about that, Mr. Brown.
Just having a moment of quietness for Allison, who
Kiwatowski.
was a wonderful person and a great community person in our city. So let's have a moment of quietness, please.
Thank you. Yeah, we lost a good one there. Moving on to action on the minutes of our October 23rd meeting.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Ms. Sultana?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger?
There are no presentations tonight to City Council, so we'll move on to public comment from agenda items only. If anyone from the public would like to make comments about the agenda items, now's the time to do that. While you're standing there, Mr. Shearer, would you just give the reason why we were in executive session? Since we delayed the start of the meeting.
Thank you. So my preliminary report tonight is that we met in executive session. We discussed various real property issues and various employee personnel matters. So there were 4 matters that we actually discussed. So thank you for your indulgence.
Thank you. Moving on to the public comment. Anybody here would make comments about the public agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move on to reports received by council. There are none. Reports of the committees, Finance Committee, Vice Mayor Brown.
Mayor, thank you very much. Last night, council met and for the budget hearing, and we went over some of the finances through several of the departments last night. I think the conversations were greatly received. Dr. Ruggles had a lot of good questions, and other council members also did. So that's all I really have. I have nothing for the agenda this evening, other than I did have a question. I got asked twice this week about. I know that the city is looking into houses for low to moderate income people, or we're still pushing forward with homelessness and other forms of money towards that. What I explained was that a lot of times we do with our grants from CDBG, we give it to non-for-profit so that they can handle some of that homelessness that's going on, and as we try to look for places for them. Just wondering if we're still moving that direction.
We have under construction right now, we have 2 properties on the two houses on the on Cole and State Street, or Cole and Reynolds. I'm sorry, Cole and Reynolds Street by Shiloh Church. We have 4 that are planned for the Porter School playground, 6 that are planned for Phillip Street, and we also looking at a number of our home program has been has qualified as a 501c3, so they will be assisting in giving out the $4 million that City Council approved for our affordable housing program. And Neil Copeland is doing a great job. As chairman of that committee, he's doing a lot to make sure that we stay on task.
And for the homeless, are we looking at any other thing?
Well, right now, we are working with Safe Harbor. That is our building. The city owns that building, gave it to them to operate. We don't charge them any rent, and they're looking at purchasing a portion or renting a portion of the DNP construction. Is that the name of it, Dave?
Yes.
DNP construction. Behind them, where they're going to do transitional apartments as their resident transitions from the Safe Harbor homeless shelter to an apartment on their own and get a job, and then they'll go out into the
Great,
world.
that sounds great.
There
Thank
we
you,
have
Mayor.
offices in there, right?
Yeah, they have offices in there now.
Mayor,
Yes.
we're also, just for my clarification, the RDA's properties on Center and Berwick, we're partnering with Third Street Alliance and Safe Harbor for those as well, right?
But that is correct. That's won't be done in the next quarter, but certainly in the next year.
Sounds great.
Economic Development Committee, Mr. Pinnabone, Councilman Pinnabone.
Thank you, Mayor. So in the last week, we received, thanks to State Representative Freeman and our Senator Lisa Boscola, a grant under RAGP for $3,625,000 for the Mill at Easton Phase 3. That's where Lehigh Valley Health Partners is going to be coming into on the south side. They plan on opening in March if construction and everything goes according to plan. We received a grant, another $500,000 for Nurture Nature Center improvements, $250,000 for the Watermark Phase 2 on Larry Holmes Drive. Since my last report last month, Trevor in our Economic Development office applied for $296,000 from FAIR to support the RDA project on Locust Street, another $288,000 from PennDOT to support the first step in pedestrian improvements to Larry Holmes Drive. The design covers Spring Garden, Church Street, and Northampton Street intersection. And we have been working with GDP in support of their applications to Main Street Matters. Mayor, also last week, as you're aware, you were with me, Blueprint Communities hosted our monthly training at Shiloh on Southside, and all the other Blueprint communities from throughout the state came to Shiloh, and we had our training there. So we're making some good headway there. We put together a mural committee, and we're meeting on Monday for a mural that we're going to do on Southside with the funds from Blueprint Communities. Let's see here. On Friday, with the permission of the mayor, myself and Michael Brett did a live video on Facebook, on my Facebook account, regarding affordable housing in Easton. There's a misconception that it seems a lot of residents feel that Easton controls the rates of apartments or rentals, and we don't want any low-income units. We only want high luxury apartments to push out the locals. Little does a lot of those people know, I'd be one of those locals that get pushed out. So that is not true, and we did about 30 minutes to really break down the funding, what we have in the pipeline. And I think Mayor, we're at about 190 units between for sale and for rent.
Yeah, I forgot to mention the church on
Shiloh,
800 block of Ferry Street. We're putting four rental units there that are affordable housing.
Absolutely. So we already have a plan for almost 200 that are going to be.
Let me just say, follow up on Councilman Pinnabone. The City of Easton City Council cannot do rent control. I wish we could, but it's up to the state legislature. The state legislature wants nothing to do with it. As a free market person, I don't particularly like it. However, I believe that the issue has gotten to the point where government has to step in and say, if you have not built your new home, built a new apartment complex, or renovated it or something, do not invest any money. What I have a problem with is the people who converted their houses to 2 units maybe 50 years ago, and now all of a sudden they're getting $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 a month. That's wrong. That is not right. I run into a lot of people when I'm getting coffee in the morning, and they tell me horror stories. Like one guy a couple months ago told me at Wawa that his lease is up in June, and he's already told the landlord has already told him that it's going to double. We're going to go from $600 to $1,200. So that's really hard for low-income families. It's hard for anybody, but for a low-income family, it's really hard. So I wish that the state would step in and do some type of rent control. Affordable housing, as far as purchasing, that's market-driven, and right now we have no supply, and so the price is high. The demand is high. People want to move to this area, and I just had a meeting with Lehigh Valley Economic Development Corporation where we talked about that, and we're a product of our own success, and that's created a lot of other issues. Affordable housing is one of them. Right now, I think in the city of Easton, right around the corner from my house, there was a house for sale, was under agreement within 1 day. Under agreement within 1 day, and that's not unusual in any of the cities. The young people want to live in cities, and the older people who are downsizing want to live in cities. They don't want to rely on their car. Great for blue zones, but we see that happening all over. I think at one point last week I checked Zillow, and it was like 5 houses for sale in the entire city. Some of them are out of sight. No one could afford them. So, and it's affecting all the stratas of income. The low income we hear about, and we do affordable housing, but what people, forget is that Easton also provides over 700 low-income housing units through the Easton Housing Authority. The Harlan House, the Walter House, the Bushkill House, all those, Neston Heights, they're all owned by the city that we provide. I don't see the other townships and boroughs doing that. I see where the township in Palmer is just going to put up apartments for seniors only. I would love to see what those rents are going to be. They're not going to be $600 a month or less. But most of our rents in the housing authority are like $150, $200 a month because they have really poor people living there. So I would like to say that affordable housing is a law of supply and demand. It's the first thing you learn in economics, and it's obviously happening right now. It's happening at all stratas. Even the CEOs of companies are telling us, had a meeting with the Olympus, Nacho and Abu over at Olympus. Yeah, thank you.
Nacho left, but yeah, we
Nachos,
yeah.
the guy moved up.
Germany, yeah.
But they're having a hard time getting somebody who makes $200,000 a year. They want a $750,000 home. They're now $1.2 million. So all levels of affordable housing are there, not just the low income. Obviously, we have a place in our heart for low income, and that's what we talk about, and that's what we provide. We're not going to provide the $750,000 to $2 million house. We're just not going to do that. So thank you.
Thank you. So with that video, we had about 2,000 views, and a lot of people responded that they were happy to get the update. A lot of people just didn't understand, so that was our goal to try to educate on that. A couple months ago, I talked about a fee in lieu of affordable for developers. I'm still working on it. I hope to have it at next meeting to bring it in next committee. It would be a fee levy to developers that don't offer at least 10% lower income rents in their buildings. It's not, the goal is not to disrupt development, but to see if we can get some help with that very cause. So I should hope to have that presented to council next committee meeting.
The problem is the 2x4 they buy or the 2x6 or 2x10 is the same price whether it's affordable or market rate.
I agree.
And that's the issue. I mean, they don't get a break because they go to Home Depot and say we're going to build affordable housing. The price is the price. See, our guys are out there again tonight with their hats on.
So when I bring it, I'll have evidence, if you will, from other municipalities in the state that are doing it and having some success with it. So I definitely think it's worth looking at and having the discussion with all of council and the mayor and see where we go from there. Mayor, one question I've been getting a lot from downtown businesses, your wife saw me downtown and I promised I wasn't just eating caramel corn. I was here for a reason. I was meeting with some business owners and I checked. The trash behind a lot of our restaurants and apartment buildings are terrible. We're getting rodent problems more than, just natural from digging. I met with some of the business owners. I'd like to see if we could talk to Dave or Dwayne about trying to do something to contain the garbages, not to be such an eyesore and spewed all over the alleyways. So hopefully, Mayor, with your direction,
We talked about it every staff meeting, I think, and Joe Gill is our health officer, and he's making sure that they have lids on the containers. The problem is, we have an ordinance that doesn't allow people to put garbage out in bags. That has to be in receptacles, but guess what? The rodents get in the bags, and then it's all over the place, and then the wind comes like we have now, and so I think the staff is well aware of that issue, especially the downtown issue. I know that where the hotel's going up, they spend almost $8,000 on rodent control.
Yeah, and I know talking to Dave.
No parking spots though.
Dave, if you could talk about how many traps, if you will, are now downtown in the circle.
A lot.
You can see them. Them all over.
We don't want.
There's
That's a good number.
there's a couple dozen.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let council know, we've had a couple of preliminary conversations with the Main Street Design Committee and Julie Van Ostol about starting a new program down here. I think a lot of the practices by the businesses are kind of outmoded, and they just haven't changed in decades. You have the nighttime crew, they get off late, they want to get home, they just throw the trash anywhere and they leave, and it comes off like that. And now that people are using the alleys more to travel between restaurants and shops, like, I think we ought to put a program in place where we force the residents, or we work with, I should say, the restaurants and businesses to have their trash not viewable from the public street through a series of trash corrals. They could be artistic, they could be approved by HDC. I don't think we're that far along. We've probably had maybe 2 or 3 of these conversations, and I think that could go along with an educational program where, hey, this is what we're trying to accomplish. Other communities have done it, and not only does it look cool, it just hides the trash, and then maybe we can improve their trash storage and preparation practices, because some of the, when you walk around, some of the ones that I see, it just looks like, there's no care taken whatsoever.
Thrown in.
And it does result in, vector attraction. We do have a lot of mice complaints and things like that. So I'm hoping we can get a program together in the spring. I think it would be really cool. So
Let me know. Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
My last two, as everybody knows, we had an election last week. Did we? Yeah, we did. You might have stuck by you. Unfortunately, it looks like we lost our Congresswoman, Susan Wild, and it looks like we're going to lose Bob Casey. And they've been instrumental in helping us. But talking with the mayor, the competition is over. Whoever won. So now it's time to get the business for the city. So I reached out to State Representative McKenzie, who's taking over for Susan Wild in Congress, and he agreed to sit with myself and Mayor in the next 2 weeks to start discussing some of the things we're working on and some of the things we were working on, and get him in the fold so hopefully we can continue to do great things for the city. My last thing, we had a hard loss on Friday night, but we have P-Bird coming up. There's only 70 tickets left, and it's for walk-up. So if you got to get there early, get in line. 70 tickets left for the P-Bird game. Go Rovers. That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Planning and Coach Committee, Councilmember Rose.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to piggyback on the affordable housing conversation, I recently attended the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission's General Assembly meeting, primarily speaking with other municipal employees and elected officials. And I think we're doing a lot here, and we're trying to support every affordable housing project that comes our way. I look forward to supporting more over my term. And it was very frustrating having some conversations with the surrounding townships about how they're more concerned about preserving the look and feel of their township. They're even preventing people from adding in-law suites and en-suites and things like that to their very large properties. So, I mean, I do have to give credit for all the projects that are going on here, but I look forward to supporting more, like I said. This evening, I have 3 resolutions for consideration that I'm introducing. One is for seeking approval between the city and the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission. The second resolution is seeking approval for agreement between the Key Codes Inspection Agency. This is a renewal agreement with no increase, so it remains flat for next year, which is great. And this agency is used primarily for inspecting newer developments. The third resolution, I'm really excited and to present this one. It's an agreement between Tracy Warner and Blabbermouth Communication. As many of you know, I've been actively collaborating with the city administrator, Louis Campos, to strengthen the city's communication plan. I'm hoped to re-engage Tracy Warner as our communications consultant. I think it will be a significant step forward in revitalizing our social media presence for the city and enhancing our overall communication efforts between the city, our residents, and small business community. Last week I attended the Planning Commission meeting. And just a reminder, the zoning meeting will be held on Monday at 6 p.m. in this room, and the agenda is available on the city's website. That's all I have. Thank you.
Very good. Public Safety Committee, Dr. Ruggles.
Thank you. I just wanted to bring everybody up to date. We get periodic updates on our chiller that is being manufactured right now, which is basically a ladder truck, but it has the capability of, it's actually built such that you drive it from the front and you drive it from the back. And so what that does is it allows greater access into smaller spaces. And so, you know, a lot of places where we have small streets and intersections, our ladder truck may not be able to get around it right now because of its length. And this will allow us to get into many of those locations. But it's pretty impressive how I think how fast they've been coming along with that ladder truck and where they are in the progress. So it should be probably within the next, I don't know, 8 months or so, we should be having it here in the cities. But good progress.
Thank you, Dr. Ruggles. Public Works Committee, Mr. Councilman Enninger.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have a report tonight. I do, however, have, I believe it's 16 resolutions that are on, and two ordinances. And I'm not going to read them all off, but Mr. Hopkins is here. If anybody sees any questions with any of them, he could answer.
Thank you, Mr. Councilman Enninger. Administration Committee, Councilmember Sultana.
Hi, Mayor. Yes, Mayor, I want to talk about Make a Bacon Fest, which was very successful. I had a pleasure of volunteering along with the other council members, so great event. Another thing that I want to talk about is, as a vice president of the Home Easton, as we all are discussing affordable housing, as a vice president of the Home Easton program, I can assure you that the board is working very hard to promote affordable housing and address the landlord tenant issues for the betterment of the city. And as the mayor and the councilman Pinnabon mentioned, the grants that the city is receiving will bring a great improvement. Some people also reached out to me to discuss the rent control issues, and I have to tell them that unfortunately municipalities have no say in this matter, and there are no statewide rent control laws. But yeah, Pennsylvania has a state ban on rent control, which allows landlords to set and increase rent as they wish. But I truly wish we could do something for our people. And one last thing that I am collaborating with Feed the Street program, and our goal is to go to every corner of the street and distribute food in this holiday season. So this event is on November 16th, and we are hosting our first two events in Safe Harbor and the other one at the Easton Community Center. That's all I have, Mayor.
Oh, okay, thank you, Councilmember. Okay, thank you. Moving on to Reporter Solicitor, Mr. Scheer.
Thank you. You got the preliminary report concerning the fact that we had an executive session immediately prior to this meeting to cover real estate matters as well as personnel matters. The only other part of my report is really a question of Councilman Ruggles. The unfinished business includes Bill number 25, which is the property tax rebate for senior citizens. We communicated ahead of time. I had suggested a couple of additional recitals so that one of the paragraphs being to make it clear that this is going to be based on savings that beginning in 2025 and applied to tax bills beginning 2026. I haven't seen any revised or proposed ordinance, so I just wanted to comment since I'm supposed to comment on irregularities, and to me, without a time frame, it's missing something. I had some other suggestions, but I respect. There's nothing illegal about the way you phrased it. There will be a lot of room for discretion and efforts, but it looked to me from your comments that you're really deferring to administration to figure out a way to handle all the aspects of this rebate.
Mm-hmm. My intention was to incorporate, once we move it and it's seconded, I was going to incorporate those two whereases, which I felt, I don't know what your opinion is, but my felt was not significant in the overall ordinance.
Okay, because this was introduced already, so this is for final action. I don't think it's substantively
Right.
out of line to just add those two paragraphs.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And as long
They're whereases anyway, I mean. So.
well, they're recitals, but I think it's important to the extent that to make it really clear that we're not talking about something where someone's going to demand in 2025.
And I agreed with you, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that was my only comments.
Okay, moving on to report of the mayor. I attended the installation of the new rabbi, Rabbi Rubin. Adrian Rubin is the new rabbi in town. She joins the rest of the clergy. We also have the menorah lighting December 30th. It's very late this year. Right? Hanukkah is very late, so it's December 30th. We actually have the lighting of the menorah downtown in Center Square. It was a very nice celebration at the synagogue. I was joined by Representative Bob Freeman and State Senator Lisa Boscola. So the three of us were there, and it was very nice. I want to talk about the 13th Street warehouse. A lot of people are calling our office, and basically what I did was I authorized Dave Hopkins to hire Pannoni Engineering to do a traffic impact study, a TIS, and it showed exactly what we thought it would show. The concern that we have is not so much the concern about the proliferation of warehouses in this Lehigh Valley, although some of us have that concern, like me. The problem is tractor trailers in the West Ward. We certainly don't, our roads are not built for that, and we certainly don't want the quality of life disturbed by tractor trailers trying to find a way to get to the old Pfizer lot. Dave had a meeting with them, and they presented their report to the Planning Commission. That meeting is it next Wednesday?
So a planning commission,
Yeah.
you're talking about? Planning commission, we had the meeting last Wednesday, so there won't be another one until December 4th.
And that's when they continued it to?
Well, no, they didn't continue it to a specific date.
Oh.
My understanding was that the main reason for that extension, which was basically a follow-up by the staff and my suggestion, that until the traffic studies are complete, there's going to be a real question as to whether this would pass, because to me, the application itself was incomplete, the land development plan. So that my understanding from talking to staff and Dwayne's here was that the developers more or less indicated that when they have their traffic study together, which may even be a matter of waiting until they get their PennDOT highway occupancy permit in line, then they'll put it back on the agenda. So we don't know if it'll be December 4th or it's going to be in next year.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Scheer. But the public will know when that meeting is. If you have an opinion or something you want to say about the warehouse, you can certainly do that at that meeting. The Planning Commission will be the one. It does not come to City Council. Just that's the way city's government set up. I want to remind. You can do it. Go ahead.
Just piggybacking on what the mayor said, just for the public, just so everybody understands, there's codes and zoning and different rules set up in the city. And if a developer abides by those rules, whether we like the development or not, it doesn't give us much legal standing to deny it. We can deny anything, and we can spend a lot of money going to court. We would ultimately lose. So, as the mayor stated, they're still waiting on a lot of things to come in from them. The developer reached out to me last week about wanting to come to Easton, to have a relationship with Easton, and to discuss our traffic concerns and see what ideas we had, and they want to try to address those. So I reached out to the mayor and Dave Hopkins, myself, Dave Hopkins, the mayor, Lewis, Jeremy, and Councilwoman Rose are going to meet with the developers in the upcoming weeks to discuss our concerns and you know, give our ideas of what we want to see. If we can't deny it legally, then at least we can talk about making it as plausible for our residents in our city as possible. So I don't know what that looks like, but we're all going to meet. Jeremy's sending dates out, and we're going to have that discussion. So we're trying to do everything we can do to make it as best for the community as we can. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of legal reasons for us to stand on at the current moment.
I just want to add that also, Mr. Pinnabone, the Planning and Codes Department will be invited.
Dwayne, I'm sorry, Dwayne. Yes, you're on the email
And
as well.
Dwayne and Carl. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just want to remind everybody that they probably saw the candles up, and it'll be lit on November 30th. Yeah, 30th. That's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And that Friday night, we'll have the kids' parade, which we've been doing now that's a tradition that we've been doing for the last 5-6 years. So if you have any kids who want to be in the parade, we march from Center Square down to the first Christmas tree. Yes, Easton is the home of the first Christmas tree. At least that's what the New York Times said back in 1926 when it was printed. And we brought the tree over in the early 1800s by the German immigrants. We will be marching with the Big Easy Easton Brass Band from Circle down to the first Christmas tree. One of the kids will be chosen to light the Christmas tree, to actually throw the switch. So you're more than welcome. And last year we had a huge crowd. Last year we probably had 300 or 400 people. So that was really good. Winterfest is being set up now. The Public Works guys have a lot of work to get done between Bacon Fest and the Winterfest. And Winterfest, they're doing a great job, by the way. I was out there today and talked to some of them, and they're really doing well. The Winterfest starts on November 23rd. We have a kickoff, and I'll invite City Council once I have all the data. It was sent to me today, but I don't have it written out. I'll send you an email. I know we're starting at 1:15. I'm going to meet the Easton Area High School band behind the public market, and we're going to march to Center Square, and there's all kinds of other things. On December 7th, for those of you who have young kids especially, Josiah Young, who was the star of Raising Dion, on Netflix, is now with Disney Plus, so he's made it to Disney, and he's on a new show called Robo Gobo. And it's hard for everybody to say, me especially. But Robo Gobo, I was with him on Saturday night. He was the main speaker at the Y Gala, and he did it. Not only did he do an amazing job, he's just so personable. He's wise beyond his years. So that's on November 23rd, and Josiah Young Day is December 7th. He will be there to meet and greet the kids. He'll also ice skate with the kids, and he plans on being there most of the afternoon. I want to remind everybody that the city of Easton, probably 3 weeks ago now, I put in a burn ban. So even if you have a UL-approved outside fire pit, we are not allowing it. It's that simple. We have a very, very dry environment. And so open flames is not something that goes with the type of climate we have right now. So we have a burn ban. Northampton County just put a burn ban in the entire county. That brings up the Easton Area High School bonfire. I can't help it. I don't have any authority over the school district, neither does any of the city council members. But yet, we're getting blamed for it. But I want you to know that if that bonfire was going to be at Cottingham Stadium, it wouldn't happen. if the burn ban is still in effect. Now, we could all hope for rain tomorrow night, it lasts all night, rather than just an hour or two like the last one did on Sunday night. But the bonfire is a school district decision. Local government in Pennsylvania is very complex. So the school districts in most states are under the control of the city council, but they're not in Pennsylvania. They are separate political, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh are. Philadelphia mayor does have some control over the school district, same way with Pittsburgh, but I don't have any control over the school district, nor does anyone else here sitting at the dais. That's their decision. That's why you elect a school board. That's why they appoint their staff, and they run their school district. They're a socio-political entity of their own. I want to.
New Jersey, the whole state is under a burn ban.
I know.
Yeah.
I just saw that too going to the airport.
Airport.
Only I didn't get off the ground. Sunday we had the DNL marathon, which was really good and very effective. Mike Drabenspot did a great job on that, and so did our public works employees and our police officers. That marathon started in Allentown and ended up in Easton. And talking to some of the restaurants, they were very, very busy. People who were in the race, obviously after running that race, they were hungry. I just want the public to know that there's a special events policy that's sort of unwritten in the budget, but in Chapter 285 is where the city lists all its fees. Bacon Fest was very successful. So was Heritage Day, so was Clam Jam, so was Garlic Fest. But the city does not get any money. The only money we get is the parking. So we put parking at $20, and both parking garages are full for all the events. So take Bacon Fest. We took in about $38,000 in parking, and we spent about $45,000. So we're about $7,000 in a hole. So I was talking to one of the very successful vendors on Sunday at Bacon Fest. I was there Saturday and Sunday. But on Sunday I was talking to the owner. He says, "Oh, the city made really happy. You're making a lot of money this weekend." I'm Mayor? I said, "No, we're not making anything. GEDP makes it." He said, "I'd be willing to help." So it's been incorporated in the budget that all the special events people, we put controls on them. Like right now, what the special events people don't understand, and I'm a special events guy. I've been, as part of the Eastern Area JCs, that's all we did were events. I'm a special events guy. I think they've helped turn around the city. They bring people who haven't been down in the city for 20 years to see what's going on, and they go, "Wow, look what's going on." And they don't have any problems. They have a good time in downtown Easton. They get that urban feeling. But the budget does have for us to recoup our costs. We lose, I don't know, maybe $7,000 on every event. And Bacon Fest makes money for the sponsor. So does Clam Jam, so does Garlic Fest. Heritage Day is something about history of the city. So if we lost money on that, because we pay for the fireworks, etc., if we lost money on that, I'd understand. I don't really care. I think we're celebrating our heritage. But that special event policy, for example, they rent the tents. They want to put them up on Friday night, Friday afternoon, actually. Well, the restaurants are open on Friday night and Saturday night. They have big nights. You can't just close down, whole parking lots.
Mayor, Friday morning, 9 a.m. That's what time it starts.
Yeah, they start at 9 o'clock, and it's Friday morning.
Yep.
So we need to, not that we were looking to recoup the parking revenue, because that's fine, but the people who come downtown to eat on Friday night and Saturday night is in the thousands. They don't have a place to park, and the restaurateurs are starting to get a little bit upset about it, and I don't blame them. So we have special event policy that we'll be talking about. Right after the first of the year, my office is planning a meeting with all the sponsors to go over to the new rules and regulations. You want to put up a tent Saturday morning. You're paying them $400,000, $500,000 to rent it. You tell them you want it up at 6 o'clock on Saturday morning, not Friday afternoon. The other thing is, my staff knows that there's a development in my crawl. I get upset every time I think about this. About 40 years ago, maybe 50, the city made a mistake. They allowed the Highlands to be built, that whole community to be built with one ingress and egress, which is on 611, which is flooded often. There's an emergency exit that we can open up a gate that's locked. So now we have a wooded area along Grant Street where the developer's coming in and he's going to put up 110 rental units. But it's not connecting to the Highlands. There's a perfect, and now you can talk to me all you want about topography. There's ways of building bridges and filling in land and building and putting in places for the stormwater. When I was with a developer, I developed Riverview Country Club. Forks Township said, you want that golf course? Here's a $5 million road we want to go around it. So we built a road from Richmond Road all the way down to 611 called Winchester Drive. You do what you have to do, but you tell the developer what they need to do to develop in your city. So I just want, it's too late. Again, 50 years later, we made the same mistake again. And I think it's about time that we start telling our developers what we need and what we want, not what they want to do. Well, the developer didn't want to do that. No kidding. The developer doesn't want to spend $1 million to put a connection in, but if he has to, he will. And the last thing I'd like to say is about Alice Kiwiateski, Anthony Marasini's partner. It's a shame we lost her. I just lost my daughter-in-law, 53 years old. It's not easy, but it happens. It's life. And she was an integral part of our community, and we'll miss her. And we send our best out to Anthony and her friends and family. Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
just a question about the Highlands. I'm just not understanding because of the HOA. Do they have a say if we wanted to add, or the developer wanted to add an egress,
No.
or they don't have no say? Okay.
No, as a matter of fact, that's the second mistake the Highlands made. They allowed the HOA, and I've dealt with HOAs at Riverview and Vista Estates, but they allowed them to bifurcate the new section in the back.
Yeah.
And just
They're not responsible
Right.
for anything.
Because on Saturday morning, I had a meeting with the HOA board about a cleanup I'm going to help them with in their community, and they said, well, we heard about the egress, and we're not really thrilled about that. We don't know if we want it. And I said, well, I don't think you have a say, but I wasn't sure.
They don't have a say.
Okay.
Some townships, for example, Forks Township says you can't build a subdivision that's not connected to another subdivision.
Right.
And same way with the recreation trails. So you have to plan for recreation trails. And the developer pays for it. In Easton, we pay for it.
Yeah. And particularly with this, like you said, when there's a big major flood, there's no way out. You know, I mean, you have to use
Open
the
up Phillips
emergency.
Street.
I tell them I'll take my truck and make a lane. They can come right up to Kenny's house, Councilman Brown's house,
Park up,
right up.
Park up bills.
Oh man,
Mr.
please
Campos, your report.
don't do that.
Sure. Just a couple of just a couple items I want to report on. One, just to add to Councilwoman Rose's update on communications. The administration is making a change with the current outsource provider for communications to Blabbermouth Communications, primarily because of the time commitment that's needed. So we just need a lot more time. The demand is higher than expected. So we spoke with the incumbent and decided to move on. Hence, that's why we have this new vendor contract in front of you today to approve it. It is a service contract, but because of the nature, it's public relations, I felt like we should put it in front of council. We've done it before, just so we're all clear on what public relations is for the city. And we will be, we'll be working with Councilwoman Rose to develop a policy, which we're going to have council approve as well, just so, because I don't want folks to think that this is a potential political tool, and at the same time, it should be more than just municipal messaging. So there has to be an in between. I think we're going to develop a policy that can help address that. And Yeah,
There we
no, yeah, all right. During the vote, Ms. Werner is here to answer any question, before you take the vote, after it's introduced, if you wanted to, engage with her a little bit more. Secondly, the auction was fairly successful. The city netted $151,000. That's about $50,000 more than what we expected. So that's positive.
Where, Louis, will that go into the general fund?
No, that goes into the capital fund, 151. So any sale of asset goes into capital.
Hello?
Yes, Karen, it's me.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Pinnabone had asked for some special events numbers. The mayor reported on it. Let me just add a little bit more. Gave you Bacon Fest, and we told you we would come back and talk to you at least about Bacon Fest.
Yeah.
But we are going to put Bacon Fest, Garlic Fest, Clam Jam, any of the other big ticket events together, and present a multi-year look. So we're working on that, and
Okay.
we'll have that hopefully within a month or two.
No problem.
You know, it's forthcoming.
Thank you.
And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
There's no correspondence, so we'll move into unfinished business. Madam Clerk?
Bill number 25, an ordinance approving a tax rebate for senior citizens.
So move.
Second.
Mayor, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Was this going to be amended to include
I
this?
have to do it now, but I had to.
You have to
I had
introduce
to
it second
introduce it. I had to move it
And then-
first
And then
before
go
I
to
can amend
discussion.
it.
I'm sorry.
So it's in discussion now.
Yes. No,
Mayor, I have a question. I absolutely love the idea of a tax rebate for our senior citizens. One question I have though is, should we slow down on it since we're looking to get the stamp program that's going to give us a 5-year financial outlook for the city? I'm wondering, we talked about it yesterday during budget, on slowing some things down until we get that professional 5-year outlook and plan, and I'm wondering if we should slow that down until we get that as well, and see how that fits in with the 5-year plan. My only concern, I love the idea, Councilman Ruggles, I spoke to you about it. I think it's great thinking, and I will support something like this. I just want to, we're basing it on money that's that hasn't yet come in. We haven't gotten the cars yet. We're basing it on what we hope to have, and I'm just wondering if we should slow it down, get the 5-year projection, wait till we get the electric vehicles and see where we're at before.
Well, we have 2 electric vehicles
Right, but
that we'll have for next year.
but we're anticipating the revenue or the savings. We don't really know yet, so I'm just wondering if we should be doing it so quickly.
So if
Wait.
but if we don't have any savings, then there's no rebate. So I don't understand why we should slow it down, because, I mean, we could say, okay, well, we're going to slow it down. We're not going to implement until next December or whatever. I mean, that's, I don't see any reason for that. I
don't
don't.
know if we-
I mean, the study that is going to be done, this does not impact next year's budget at all.
What doesn't, the study or this?
No, this
rebate.
rebate does
I-
not impact it at all.
I guess my question is because we don't know, and again, love the concept, and I think we should look at every way to do that. I just wonder if we should pull it back, instead of a $5 or $10 rebate, because we don't know how many people are going to come forward. If we do our financial projections, and maybe we could do something a little more solid and not rush it. Is my thought. I like to hear from other council
Of
members
course.
and the administration as well.
I have some thoughts on that also. I don't know if I think that the concept is great. I think it will work. I don't think I would say slow it down, but what I would say is let's take a look at the 5-year plan and incorporate that in there to really give us an idea of where we want to be at. It's not going to hurt us if we did that or not. That's just my feelings on it.
Councilman, if you could just clarify, you confused me a little bit.
What's going?
You,
Oh, okay.
Councilman Brown. So You don't want to slow it down, but you want to wait for the
No,
five-year plan. But
here's
I don't,
what I'm saying. I said I wouldn't use that word slow down.
Okay.
What I would say is let's take a look at it with the study and incorporate that into it, giving us a better idea of how it will look, how we can massage it or what have you.
So when I
Never heard us.
when I say slow down, I essentially
I know
mean,
what you
could we
mean.
table it?
I know what you mean.
Are you on that page? Or
Yes,
no?
absolutely.
Okay.
I guess and I haven't talked to Roger about this, but my concern is that it's nebulous. It's a savings of gasoline. I'd rather budget to know how much it is. I believe that the per capita tax should not be paid by people over 65. That's my own opinion. That's where I would put it. But I also believe that it should not be paid by people over 65 that are on a fixed income below $60,000 a year or 35, whatever you want to set it at. But I know there are seniors in this city that are making a lot of money on their investments. Should they not pay it? I look at myself. I work. I'm 72 years old. I'm still working. I'm getting a paycheck. Why should I get a rebate, a discount from the city? I shouldn't get a discount.
I agree.
So I think we got to set. I think the bar has to be that you have to apply for it, just like you do with the trash. And the deal there is the trash is, older people don't generate as much trash as a family of 6 or 5, and that's why we give a discount. But I would just like to see. I think the per capita tax is a nuisance tax. It should be eliminated as soon as the city can get rid of taxes. Instead of lowering property tax, I would say we should get rid of the per capita tax because we only collect $100,000 a year and it spends more time doing that.
And just for clarification, this would only apply to seniors who own real estate.
Right.
So all the seniors in the senior housing and they don't get a dime.
They do not get
Yeah.
because they don't have a real estate tax bill.
Right, but generally the landlord, the owner,
Just words out of my mouth. They do pay
the
taxes.
owner will pass
it on.
on to on their rents whatever they're paying on the taxes. It's just an observation.
I concur with tabling. For now, I also like the idea of the tax rebate for seniors, but I'd like to see the data on the 5-year outlook personally.
I don't have a motion.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to table Bill number 25, ordinance approving tax rebate for senior citizens.
And I second that.
There's a second, so let's take a vote.
You have to table it to a specific meeting?
No, we don't have to.
Okay.
It could come up at any time that you put it back on the agenda.
Okay.
They don't have to be date specific
Right.
if they don't want to be. So if I might add a clarification here, they want to wait until the stamp program is done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The report is
So we
received
get
by
the results.
council.
And Louis, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're going to interview each council member.
Yes.
And I think, we can, or Councilman Ruggles, since it's his plan, can mention that to them, and that's something that they can look at and try to incorporate and see what they come back with on their plan. Thank
Yes.
you. All right.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger?
You don't need a vote.
Oh.
Moved and tabled.
No, you need a.
You got to vote to table it
tabling.
because it's on
Yeah.
the agenda.
Oh, it's on the agenda. That's right.
Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
No. Is that strong enough?
Yes. And Ms. Sultana?
I abstain.
On what grounds? Councilmember, as the chairman of the committee, I'm asking you, on what grounds are you abstaining? You can only abstain for conflict of interest.
No, but I think I do need to work on this more. I want to talk to Mr. Roger probably separately and, talk about this issue because I really love the idea.
I think we all do.
Tabling is not a rejection of the
Right.
bill. It's
Bring it
it's
back
giving
to
the
the-
opportunity to speak to the other party, and so that the reasoning of abstention on a motion to table just does not make sense. And it is the duty for everybody here, unless they have a conflict, to vote.
So we are just tabling, and Mr. Roger will work on it to bring it back on, right?
Councilwoman, we're asking to table it until the stamp program does a full 5-year assessment of our financials, and then we can revisit it to see if it makes sense as is, or if we could do something different with it.
Okay, then I vote no on it. Thank you for explaining.
Okay, thank you. New business, Madam Clerk?
Sure. Resolution approving agreement between the City of Easton and the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commissions.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Ms. Sultana? Mrs. Sultana?
Move on.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
A resolution approving an agreement between the City of Easton and Key Codes Inspection Agency.
So moved.
Second.
Question, Dave, while you're here, since you are here for other reasons, most of this agenda item is yours. This is for a handrail on the 600 block of Northampton Street that extends out into Northampton, into the sidewalk, into our area.
This is the Key Code.
Oh, this is for Kiko's, I'm sorry. I'm already on the next one, encroachment. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, my fault.
Mayor
Trying to get ahead of
Panto?
myself. Aye.
Get out of here.
Mr.
No, I'm trying to
Pinnabone?
get through.
Yes, aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana?
I have it crossed off.
Mr. Brown?
Yes, aye.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, now.
Do you have to go back and get her vote from the last one? Or
No.
You just
No.
leave it empty?
Just
No,
Just leave it empty? Okay, I didn't know.
Okay, a resolution approving an encroachment agreement for 643 to 645 Northampton Street.
So moved.
Second.
That's my question. Judging by the problem we have at Len's Court, I don't want to see the same problem. The fire department comes in and says, "Oh, we can't fight a fire. It's got to come down." Did we run this by the fire department first? Dwayne, I mean, the encroachment is on the city's public right of way. We had that problem at Len's Court with Pearly Bakers. And I realized that this is Singalis Market.
Oh, that was 6.
Right, and I understand the reasoning for it, and I approve it. I mean, it's a good improvement to that property. I just want to make sure that the railing is somehow can come out. Oh. Okay. Okay, so it's only on the handrail. It's only on the
Okay.
ADA ramp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't block entry or egress, and I think the fire department's concern about Len's Court was the amount of people that actually gather back there for the restaurants, trying to get out in the event of emergency.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Ms. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
A resolution approving the purchase of a paving trailer.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, any discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Ms. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Spending a lot of money tonight.
Aye.
Yeah.
That same trailer 5 years ago, 20,000 cheaper.
I know.
A resolution approving the purchase of a large dump truck.
So moved.
Second.
Is this a 10-ton, Dave? 10-ton? One of the big ones? Oh, wow. Okay. Clear the snow even faster.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Ms. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
And Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
A resolution approving an agreement with Xavier Landscape and Design.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
A resolution approving PennDOT policy and procedures for consultant selection.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana?
Aye.
A resolution approving an agreement with PSI Pumping Solutions.
Moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Ms. Sultana?
Aye.
And Mr. Brown?
Aye.
A resolution approving agreement with Michael Baker International as the city's consultant for Safe Streets for All.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
A resolution approving an agreement with Waste Management.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Discussion? Roll call.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Ms. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
A resolution approving agreement with Semmel Excavating LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Ms. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
A resolution approving a wastewater treatment chemical contract to Thatcher Company.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Ms. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
A resolution approving wastewater treatment chemical contract to Martin Marietta Magnesia Specialties.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
No discussion. Roll call.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Ms. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
And Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
A resolution approving wastewater treatment chemical contract to Buckman's.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
And Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Resolution approving a wastewater treatment chemical contract to Neo Solutions for polymer centrifuge.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Roll. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
And Ms. Sultana?
Aye.
A resolution approving wastewater treatment chemical contract to Neo Solutions for polymer gravity belt thickener.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Ms. Sultana?
Aye.
And Mr. Brown?
Aye.
A resolution approving wastewater treatment chemical contract to Water Tech, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Ms. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
A resolution approving a certified list of entry-level firefighters.
Can I ask a question? Why is Councilmember Sultana, not Dr. Ruggles, Councilman Ruggles,
That was-
introducing this?
That was my mistake.
Okay.
Just. Oh, yeah, we have to do that one.
So move.
Did we skip one?
Yeah, we did.
We did.
Do it.
Shore, South Shore Construction.
Yeah, R, letter
South
R.
Shore.
Do you want to do the firefighter first?
We'll do firefighter.
Yes.
Okay.
So you need a motion in a second, right?
Yep.
We did.
Jim?
No,
I just moved it.
Oh, you
Moved
did
it.
second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? As you can see by the resolution, we only had 8 people who passed the test. And we're getting it's getting harder and harder to find firefighters and police officers. So, we have police officers, their test is coming up in another month or two. So, hopefully we'll get the word out and try to get as many people to apply as possible. But 8 usually we have 20, 25.
Yeah.
8 is not a lot.
And the test isn't that hard.
No. Neither is the physical agility.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
maybe I.
Well, that's what I meant.
I was gonna say maybe I could pass it, but maybe I can't.
Mr. Pinnabone,
Aye.
Mrs. Rose,
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles,
Aye.
Ms. Sultana,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Eddinger,
Aye.
Mayor Panto.
Aye.
And
Letter
the
R.
missed one is
Missed R, go back up
Yeah.
to the South Shore.
resolution approving agreement with South Shore Construction LLC for South Third Street garage repairs.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. I'd like to congratulate Dave. Thank you for doing this because nothing was, well, I shouldn't say that. We did a lot to the South Third Street garage when it was built, but it was such a different type of construction with all those steel beams. This is, I think, mainly doing the ceiling is really going to help keep those rebars in good shape.
Mayor Panto,
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone,
Aye.
Mrs. Rose,
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles,
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Eddinger.
Aye.
A resolution authorized for the city solicitor to sign stipulation on behalf of the city of Easton.
Move.
Second.
Moved in second. Discussion. This is for the property downtown, and we're adding our name to the list. You're not going to appear though, right?
No,
The school district does.
The school district actually paid, surprisingly, had nothing to do with this case. This case was started in 2021, inspired by the Northampton County itself. The owners, and this is where Oak is located, the owners sought to decrease the the value. All our taxes are based on assessments. I'm going to use property values instead of the word assessment because the assessment has to be modified by a common level ratio, which confuses the heck out of everyone. Right now, by the way, the common level ratio for the city of Easton, for Northampton County, because of the fact that we have not had a county-wide assessment for now almost 30 years, despite the concept that you should do it every 10 years.
Not the concept, the constitutional mandate.
Okay, well, we
The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
we're a bunch of outlaws because the county doesn't want to pay the money. So what happens is you get disparities. So it's adjusted every year by a number that the state gives us, and right now it's 5.49. So if you ever see the assessment on your tax bill, you have to multiply by 5.49. And just to give you a broad concept of what we're talking about, in 1995, when they did the reassessment, and I don't understand this either, the assessment was 1/2 the value. So you right away had a common level ratio of 2, the way I think of it. County does this backwards. But the bottom line for this property was that the owner wanted to reduce the assessment that valued the property at $1,084,000 down to $507,000. And the county resisted that, and I had at the time intervened on behalf of the city just so I would be in the loop of things. That's all it was. There was nothing to go to court. Anyway, what happened is what usually happens. The owners presented an appraisal from Ladone and Associates of $900,000. And the bottom line was that the old assessment, the settlement kept the assessment the same for 2 years and moved it up to $1,200,000. We, based on an assessed value, by the way, to show you of $232,800, which again shows you how skewed it is. The recent reassessments, which Lehigh County and Monroe County did in the last couple of years, goes 1-to-1. So it's nice when you see an assessment of $150,000 and the value is $150,000. But in any event, there was no basis for me not to go along with the county. I think did a good job. But surprisingly, because the school district is usually the motivating factor in these assessment appeals, but that's where the school district is going after the properties to try to get them raised. In this particular case, it was a matter that the county had an application from an owner, and they said, no, this doesn't make sense to us. So they resisted, and here we are 4 years later with a settlement. So that's the backstory of the stipulation that I'm now asked to sign because I had intervened.
Thank you.
And I recommend to approve it.
Madam Clerk.
We have a resolution approving 3-month contract with Tracy Werner doing business as Blabbermouth Communications.
Motion.
We didn't vote on it. We didn't vote on it.
Oh, we didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like stipulation.
That was a long one, Joe. You
Yeah.
threw us all off.
Mrs. Rose,
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles,
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Eddinger,
Aye.
Mayor Panto,
Aye.
and Mr. Pinnabone.
Aye.
And we're on Bill 26.
I was going to just do all the resolutions first, but
Let's go. You gotta follow the agenda.
okay.
The agenda was approved. That's why we approved the agenda at the beginning.
Bill number 26 is an ordinance amending the language to current section 285-46 special events.
So introduced.
Bill number 27, an ordinance amending the language to Article X parking regulations.
So introduced.
I really like I'd get rid of all the yellow lines. I'd go with the hash marks that we have on Wood Avenue. I think it works very well. And the painted line, I don't see anybody parking on the corners in the Wood Avenue anymore.
I don't either.
It's really, but I realize it takes a lot more time and a lot more money, but it really is effective. Introduced, it was moved and approved, moved in seconds, no discussion.
We're on letter 11, W.
Roll call. Yeah, it was introduced.
Yeah, we're on W.
Resolution approving the 3-month contract with Tracy Werner.
Wait, I'm sorry. You got 3 year month? I got 1 year.
Yes, I know. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't change your.
Is it 3 months?
It's 3 months.
Okay.
3
The
months.
contract was changed.
It's 3 months.
Thank you.
With Tracy Werner doing business as Blabbermouth Communications.
So moved.
Love
Second.
the name.
Second.
Love the name.
Welcome home.
Mayor, for discussion, if I may, Tracy, you moved on right when myself and Crystal came on. You sure?
You're gonna have to because people at home won't hear you.
So you moved on right when myself and Crystal came on. I blame Crystal. It wasn't me. But I know Crystal and I have talked at length since we got here, and there's a real difference since you've been gone. So, and we hear it a lot from the community, and I'll let Crystal tell you more. So I'm just happy to say that we're grateful to have you back.
Welcome
Looking
home.
forward to it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it, Tracy.
Oh, so am I. Good to be back home. And I will soon be a resident of the Easton area. Not the city, but I'll soon be a resident of Palmer Township. So I'll be a lot closer.
Exciting.
Doesn't count.
Who said that?
Still have an Easton address.
Yes, I technically do, just not an Easton zip code, but close, closer than downtown Bethlehem where I have been for the last 8 years. But yes, I'm very excited to re-engage with the city. I see our digital platforms as being vital to communicating with our residents, with our business owners, with visitors. It's not optional anymore. Social media isn't just a nicety to have, and social media is only a component of what I do, but the email marketing, updating the website, working on the Ask the Bugler and the Smart 911 texting, the more we can engage with our residents, the more informed they are, the better they can participate in our city.
And the Ask the Bugler is now in 75 languages.
Yes, I saw that. That's exciting. I can't respond in that many languages.
I had a meeting with Bratton today down in Tampa, but I'm not there.
I heard your flight never got off the ground.
Never got off the ground. It was canceled.
Anything
Well,
else?
it
from
got off the ground at 6 o'clock.
Oh,
It's too late for
you
me.
just weren't on.
I go down.
Anything else from anyone? Okay, thank you.
I just want to add that it is a 3-month contract, and we're hopeful that we can engage into a longer arrangement in the next several months. So that's something that we're going to work on.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Ms. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Eddinger?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Pinnabone?
Aye.
And Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
I would just want to say one thing. We get in a lot of trouble, a lot of questions, a lot of complaints about intersections in the city, and we approved a contract today for Safe Streets for All, and we're really happy about that. But somebody says, oh, 13th Street, they were just yelling at me on Facebook that 13th Street and Bushkill Drive is not it's a city intersection, not a state intersection. It's a city intersection, but it is, we are governed by as a Commonwealth, we are governed by the state rules, which says a left turn lane, which is a through lane, cannot be opposing traffic to the other through lane, correct, Dave? And that's why that is now a left-hand turn only instead of a right turn only. But the left turn, the through lane was facing traffic who was turning left, coming west. So I understand that people may get mad at us for not doing something, but oftentimes we don't have the choice. I mean, it's and if you want to gamble with all the state funding we get, because that's what they would hold back, the state funding. And we have a good relationship with the state, and we work well with Bob Freeman and Lisa Boscola and Josh Shapiro, and we want to keep it that way. So we obviously, it may be a city street, but that doesn't mean that we control it. Motion for adjournment?
Public comment. Public comment.
Oh, public comment, yeah. Public comment. Mr. Ravitz. 140 Church Street.
Thank you, Mayor. I know this is a surprise. I only have a few questions. The zoning committee, was there a date on that?
The zoning meeting is on Monday at 6 o'clock in this room.
And that's the 18th?
18th.
Huh?
18th.
18th, okay. What is an HOA board? I don't know.
Homeowners Association.
Okay. Okay.
But a lot of your subdivisions in township are controlled by an HOA,
I see.
and basically the HOA tells you what you can and cannot do with your property.
I got you.
Plus, they charge you a fee.
Yeah, they charge
To tell you
Tell
what
you.
to do.
You're a member of the association? Yeah. The candle lighting, what time is that on the 30th?
6, right?
No, it's probably about 7
7
o'clock.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Yes.
7 p.m., okay.
Yeah. You're right. No, you're right. 7.
What were the items auctioned for the $150, if that's what the city
Our
meant?
band shell,
Band shell?
the former band shell.
Actually, I have a list. I'll submit.
Yeah, we read it out.
I'll
last
submit it. I'll submit it to council, and you can always contact the clerk. I'll submit that as part of my report.
They were approved by council at the last 2 meetings,
I see.
so
I have the amount. So yeah, you can get the list from the clerk.
Okay, thank you. Did anything settle with the city's request for part of the $20 million to fix up north at 611?
Nothing.
Nothing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Artie.
thank you, Mr. Ravitz.
Mayor,
Yes.
seeing no one else, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Anyone else want to address city council? Todd, you want to introduce yourself? This is a great program we're going to start. It's funded by Lehigh Valley Hospital Network, and Todd's heading up the whole debate.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. My name's Todd Namura. I'm a local here, graduated from Easton High School. I always like to tell, Mayor Panto was my social studies teacher back in the day. Yes, I am the, what's that?
But I had hair.
Yeah, right. Yeah, me too, right? Yes, I'm the Director of Community Transformations for the Blue Zones Activate Easton project. Anyone who's interested, you can email me at todd@bluezones.com. I have a PowerPoint presentation I can go over. Next week, we are doing our what we call discovery. It's kind of like a community health needs assessment type of process. So the Blue Zones team will be here in Easton. We're meeting with Dave. We're meeting with the mayor. A couple of the council people are going to be meeting. There's a couple of community meetings. But the bottom line is that we are striving to help everyone everywhere live better longer. And we do that by working on food and built environment policy that is designed to make the healthy choice the easy choice. So as I was listening to the Safe Streets initiative, I started thinking about built environment. We're also do a lot of work around food systems, everything from community gardens, farmers markets, food pantries, education, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm happy to stick around and answer any questions, but lots more to come. It's a 3-year initiative. So I'm now living here downtown, which I'm absolutely loving, and we'll be talking a lot more over the next couple of years. Thank you,
And
Mayor.
if you want to watch a series, Netflix, I've watched the series. We've been very involved. We thank Lehigh Valley Hospital Network immensely for funding the program. But Netflix has a series on the Blue Zones, and it's all about healthy living. As a matter of fact, our restaurants will be encouraged to have a Blue Zone logo on some of their items that are healthy. I should eat.
Mayor, if I could add, because council had this question on why is it called a blue zone?
Okay.
Now, we did talk about the Centurions, where there's a larger concentration of them, and that's how this study originated. But why the word blue? I did look it up, but I wanted to give.
Maybe they're all Democrats.
So they used a blue pen to circle those areas.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's as they were marking off the centenarians on the map.
Centenarians, yes.
More blue check marks or circles depending on which story Dan Buettner tells.
Well, I just came back from Italy, and it's very easy to see why they were chosen for one of the blue zones, because over there you walk, and with gas being $8 a gallon, you walk up and down the hills, and it's fun.
Live longer.
Hills make you healthy, and we got some nice ones here in Easton. You know,
7 Hills of Rome, right here in downtown Easton. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Moved in second. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana?
Aye.
Okay. Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
And Mr. Pinnable?
Aye.